Hello everyone, it's Carl here with a new video of mine. It's been a while, called Our Galactic Abundant Future. Now, obviously I'm going to explain what that's all about and why I'm deciding to make this video today. It really boils down to, as a coach, I get very passionate about, helping people to create a vision for the kind of life they want to live, the environment they want to be in, who they want to become. That's really exciting and that's really in alignment with who they really are. Now, the longer I've gone on in my personal development journey, I've been in this kind of open-minded, surrendered state in many ways of looking at it, and it's opened my mind to concepts of who am I. What is my place in the universe? What is our place as a planet in the universe? Now, I've had some amazing information that's come through to me in the last few years, and it's time for me to share it, not because I want to convert anyone to thinking the exact same as what I do. I think it's an amazing mystery, this whole life as we know it is a mystery, and I'm not saying I've nailed everything, but I have discovered so much which is really exciting me, about giving me a sense of hope about where we're going as a planet, where we're going as a group of people. And I want to share some of that with you, partly because it's about then I can make it all the more physical for myself, and it really excites me. And I'm actually seeing a lot of tangible evidence in my, in the people I'm meeting and the information that's coming to me, which is actually making me feel more and more solid and knowing and trusting that this sense of a vision that I have is actually, it's there on a plate ready for us to actually take and move towards if we choose to. So what am I talking about? Well, let me give you some examples. I mean, a number of years ago, I've used this word galactic, and it's great that it's starting to become familiar to us. We've got Richard Branson making galactic airplanes, and we want to go out into space. We want to explore. One of the ways that you might think of, let's think about consciousness. People are meditating and we're tapping into wider senses of information. So there is a group, often people will channel information. Now you could think about channeling when you're a singer or an artist. In a way, we're channeling, when we get into that flow state, we're channeling something which often people will say, I don't know where that came from. That wasn't just me, that was just really, it just came through me. And a lot of people are channeling information, whether it's their future self or channeling information which might be, stuff that they couldn't come up with themselves, which are now being described as, whether you think of it as high dimensional beings or other aspects of ourselves, future aspects of ourselves, whatever. I mean, Bashar would be an example of this. You can go and look up. I'm going to give you some examples of things that you can go and do the research after this video. I just want to throw a few thoughts out there today. But I started to watch some channeled content and it really resonated with me. I mean, I can only talk about this on an intuitive level, that I felt really excited by the information that was coming through. And it was, this initial group that came through was a group called the Pleiadians. You can look them up, P-L-E-I. I'll write the name of them underneath the video, Pleiadians. And they came through and I got very excited. I went to some workshops where other people were channeling the Pleiadians. And you can think of them as our galactic family, galactic brothers and sisters, effectively. And they were, teaching a message, really, which is very much my message, which is one of empowerment and one of, that we are creators of our reality and that we can tap into that, and we're really here to be happy. So that started to come through, and then I started to learn a lot more. I started to, one thing leads to another on the web when you start to find information and use discernment as well. I've been through a lot of information which you filter, you find your own filter. So there are amazing technologies apparently available to us, which can really solve a lot of our problems. So let me give you an example. We have 3D printers now. I've heard about replicators. Some of this is real science fiction, and ultimately I'm going to be saying that some of this science fiction is potentially science fact from what I'm hearing. 3D printers, okay, we can start to create products and things through putting together a format for a machine to then replicate. Well, take that a few steps further, and apparently there are already these devices called replicators where you can actually define, the set of molecular structures and so on that would make whatever you want. Can you imagine if you had a replicator where you could literally create anything from a hamburger through to a $5 bill or a $500 bill? Well, that obviously as a technology would change a huge amount, and I know it might potentially fry your head right now, but these are the potential technologies. Another one is how do we clean up the seas, the oceans? They're filthy with pollution. The earth itself is filthy with pollution. Well, apparently again, there are technologies, advanced technologies, which could clean up the oceans in levels of speed that are beyond our comprehension at the moment. These are quantum leaps of evolution we're talking about in terms of technologies. What are some of the other ideas? Well, there are numerous kind of technologies and so on. One also that's been bubbling up really has been about free energy. And there is a whole wave of people who are experimenting now with bits of information that are coming out in an open form, that people are creating free energy devices. Again, if we don't have to rely on the ways that we've been using energy at the moment, again, it flips so much of what's going on this planet. There are various different sources that I can point you to. I can hear you in your mind kind of going, oh yeah, I don't know about this, Carl. It sounds a bit out there, and if it was for real, then why don't I know about it? Well, there's a huge amount of information on the web, and I know a lot of people will say, oh, there's a lot of nonsense on the web and there's a lot of stuff that just makes me think that there's a lot of cuckoos out there. Well, yes, there is a lot of information. There's a lot you have to be able to filter through. So where are some of these sources that I would recommend you might start with? Well, one that comes to mind straight away is actually the citizen hearing. The citizen hearing was an event that happened about 12 months or more ago, where there were senior politicians, senior people in the military, the police forces on a global basis who have either witnessed UFOs or have witnessed information very tied to this, who were making testimony to some ex-Congress people in the United States. It was in Washington, D.C., the press club. So if you look up citizen hearing, you'll hear about people, even people who've been into space, astronauts. Edgar Mitchell was there, who passed away recently. He was one of the guys who went on the moon. We've got people who are senior in the Canadian government, trusted people who you would think, okay, well, if they're in the military, if they're in the police force, why would they really mention this stuff unless they were really, wanting to share that in the same spirit, really, that I'm sharing this video today. This is information which does change things, and it's information that, I want to put out there because it's very exciting. I don't have to force everyone to listen to it. If it's resonating, you can have a look at the citizen hearing. You could look up Bashar. He's one of these guys I'm telling you about. He's doing channeling. It's amazing information. It's just very empowering anyway. What else could you look at? You could look at the film Thrive, which is available now on the web to watch for free. Thrive Movement. I'll put the links to these underneath the video. You could look at Sirius, the film Sirius, Sirius. That again, Sirius and Thrive are wonderful films for showing some of this stuff about galactic technologies, galactic information, free energy. That's all been put out there. Again, Sirius is a free film you can watch. They found evidence of potential. There was the Roswell crash, for example, where people were exposed to the concept of a spaceship that crashed on the Earth. There's various other pieces of evidence. You could look at the History Channel series called Ancient Aliens. They're exploring the whole concepts of how were the pyramids constructed and all these ancient sites where the modern history is telling us that they had millions of people with little pulleys pulling these massive rocks to fit together and make a pyramid, which just is, if you look at the modern technologies now, they couldn't even build half of the things at the pyramids in terms of the precision between those huge lumps of rocks neatly nestled in next to each other. If you look at a lot of other similar structures to the pyramids, it really does defy logic, and people can't come up with ideas. If you look at ancient aliens, they're coming up with other theories around how these rocks might have been moved and how advanced civilizations might have actually been here in our past and created some of these things. And they're actually looking at our evolution and giving us nudges in the right direction. This is a very exciting time that we're in. If you look at the whole personal development space, there's so many teachers and there's so much information that is helping us to understand how do we create things and how do we tap into these advanced levels of consciousness. So we're in uncharted territories in many ways, in terms of even there are theories around how our DNA is evolving, and we are going through a really quantum level of a leap in our evolution. And certainly, we're looking at so many technologies at the moment that are just exciting, and they're moving us forward. Some of this stuff is only starting to seep through, like free energy. Sirius, the film, there's also a site called Sirius Disclosure, who are on a campaign at the moment to get a lot more awareness and a lot more visibility of these free energy devices. They have a plan to put together an event, I think in about 18 months' time, which are going to have a lot of celebrities and people who are going to celebrate a lot of these new technologies. And I think a big concert is going to be put together. They're actively looking for people to get involved and get excited about what's happening, because what we know about the web is that we can actually spread information across a very large number of people, and that that education, it's really about us owning information that inspires us, that makes us feel excited on a personal level. And this is really my third point that I want to make today. Yes, there's galactic abundant futures out there, but all of this boils down to, it doesn't matter about what, there's a big theory about, the governments have been in touch with, galactic civilizations for a long time. And one of the reasons why they haven't told us about it is this, this whole concept of they can't handle the truth. And I'll be honest, there is a lot of information about this galactic topic, which I hope to explain and express as time progresses, because it's, it's one step at a time. But, we are at that point now where if some of this sounds like fun, if some of this sounds intriguing, well, go and do your own research, look it up. And also, like I'm saying, that the real core message that the Galactics have for ourselves as well is this concept of personal sovereignty. We have, our own video playing of life anyway. We have our own power in terms of saying, well, I'm putting this video out and I'm saying, well, this is, I want this to be for the well-being of the planet. I want us to have an exciting, abundant future for everyone. And I know some of these things are game-changing and they will change things up. And I want to bring that into my reality. And I want to do it for the well-being of everyone. And I don't need everybody to agree with what I've just said for it to happen. Sometimes these evolutionary changes happen by a small group of people suddenly getting excited and saying, yeah, let's go off and do something here. So it's really about, don't worry about the galactics if you're not interested. But what I would say is come up with a vision for yourself, which honors who you are. Explore your inner child. What was your favorite fairy tale when you were a child? There's clues in that. Mine was Star Wars. I'm now very keen on concepts about, the Force. And there is, this power, which is really about personal happiness. When we feel happy and we feel excited by something and we follow our heart, follow your joy, amazing things happen. And that's why I'm making this video, is this thing for the last few years, my joy. And every day I listen to YouTube videos and I hear a little bit more about our place in the universe, the fact that there are galactics out there. They want to come and help us, but we have to ask them to help, because they're watching us and knowing that we're big and ugly enough to grasp this for ourselves and call them in. And then if we call them in and we say, well, we're actually, evolving ourselves and we're open to help, but we'll do the difficult stuff. I'm aware, that this video, I'm going to have people out there, people who know me, who are going to sort of roll their eyes up. And, part of this is about putting myself out there and just being a bit vulnerable. Like I say, I don't have a big agenda of convincing everyone. And I know this defies some of the thinking that's out there, but what can I do? What can I do? But just share. So that's the video that I wanted to make for today. It's our galactic abundant future. Talk to me, write some comments. I have much more to share, and I will do in the future. This is to start a conversation, and I wish you all well. We all want a message of hope, I think, at the moment. There's so much going on the planet, and I've noticed on my social media activity that the messages that people particularly pick up on are the ones where I give a bit of hope. So if I've given you a little bit of hope in whatever format, then it's job done. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, potentially. Take care. Go well.